said she barely had a bump, that she went into the doctor's office when she was about 9 months pregnant and asked about some test, and the nurse said, well, you can't take that test unless you're pregnant. She said, I'm 9 months pregnant. They had the baby in April. David is here along with Dad, David. Let's take a look at the score from tonight. It's a big one, too. San Antonio sitting on top of the Western Conference, and they got a big win tonight over Connecticut, and that sews things up. San Antonio will have the top seed in the West going into the playoffs. 2 and 3 still to be determined, and maybe 4. We'll see what happens in this game. Lisa Leslie to jump it up against Erica DeSouza. And we are underway here at Staples Center. Our officials, Bonita Spence, Scott Twardowski, and June Cortell.
One of the things the Sparks are focusing on is getting on the board offensively early in the game. They've had a hiccup right out of the gate, and they know as they get closer to the WNBA playoffs, they've got to get that offense clicking in motion sooner.
Well, Sparks played last Friday night in San Antonio, and it was not a game to remember. It was kind of remember the Alamo and forget San Antonio game. They had a bus trip that night, went into Houston and played a great game. Worked their way into the playoffs by getting the Comets. That's Keisha Brown with the first bucket of the night.
The Dream is a team that you're going to see Betty Lennox get a lot of touches. They run just a couple of sets, almost with Lennox touching each time down the floor, but turnovers have been their Achilles heel. They had one there. Sparks capitalize.
DeSouza with the miss. Bobbitt keeps it alive for Keisha Brown.
The other thing you notice about the Dream is 3 of their starters have 3 years or less experience.
How about moving the basketball? A couple of touch taps right there. Delisha Milton-Jones caps it off.
So it's tough to defend the quick interior passing of the 6'4", 6'5" post players of the Sparks.
This is Allison Bales, good shooter from outside, and she shows it. Also a good shot blocker inside, so we'll watch her tonight.
Well, most of the Dream big players do like to play on the perimeter rather than inside, so we are going to see a lot of those 15 or plus footers from the Atlanta team.
Candace Parker against Castro Marquez, they'll double. Leslie baseline, off the heel. And the Sparks get an offensive rebound.
One of the things Michael Cooper said to us is Lisa Leslie was a better perimeter shooter last year, and she just hasn't found that stroke, although she's still taking it. Took it that time down the floor, but still not getting it to sink in.
Milton-Jones for 2. She's got 4 points. Sparks have got 6.
She is one of the players that's actually accelerated since the beginning to end of the season. I mean, her performance, if it could get better offensively on the floor, has done that.
Castro Marquez out to Bales. She's 2 for 2. 6-5 game. First game between these two teams was way back on May 25th. Keisha Brown coming in from the right side. Bobbitt for 3. Another offensive rebound put back by Parker, no good, but she'll go to the line. Back on May 25th, Sparks won in Atlanta 74-56. That was the second game of the season for the Sparks, and they have certainly improved their passing since then.
And you know, part of that is Candace Parker. She's such a good passer. Lisa Leslie, and then finds the open player. But the good anticipation by their big posts is the reason why they're up in the assist category.
Parker has improved her free throw shooting as the year has gone along. As soon as I say that, she misses. Sorry, CP. She's a 72% free throw shooter, gets to the line more than anybody else on the team, and hits more free throws than anybody else. Earlier in the year, she was at upper 60s, and she's really improved quite a bit.
And Michael Cooper said part of that is because she's taking her time at the charity stripe, literally counting to herself and going through the whole routine, getting the shot ready and sinking it.
Ivory Lotta taking it in, and she'll have some free throws coming up.
Everybody says this team for the Dream is surrounded by Betty Lennox. Really, it's the fiery emotion of Lotta. If you know anything about North Carolina, you know, Ivory Lotta, led North Carolina to a Final Four. Exciting player, has all the passion. The fans love her down in Atlanta, and you'll always see her hustling. And with a record like the Dream have at 3-29, it's tough to stay up all the time. And she says, you know, sometimes our team looks like $1 million. Sometimes it looks like $1, but I got to keep going no matter what the outcome is.
We got a tie game at 7 after the free throw. I was talking to Ivory before the game as well. She says she's happy where she is. Got a good team around her. They all get along well. They work hard. And she says, I'm getting to play here. And she didn't get a whole lot of minutes in Detroit last year. Ball out of bounds. And Atlanta will get it back.
Give the Dream credit right here out of the gate. It's something Marinelle Metter said. She said, hey, we're going to try and get the Sparks 1, 2, 3 passes in, try and get them off their game a little bit. It's a tie ball game in the early going.
Betty Lennox, first fire of the night, is off. De Sousa after the rebound, and the Sparks come out with it with Bobbitt. Parker, nice move, and she rolls it in. Allison Bales' head is still spinning.
Yeah, she had Bales on her back, quick pump fake to the left, and a quick step to the right, and there was no catching up to her.
Lennox likes that shot, doesn't like the result, and Sparks almost threw it away. They did. De Sousa there to pick up the garbage and put it away. I want to welcome all of you who are watching on NBA TV tonight and around the world, wherever you might be. We welcome you here to Los Angeles tonight. Keisha Brown fouled by Lennox out near the three-point line.
You know, I was talking to Candace Parker before the game, and I said, how do you maintain your consistency from Tennessee to the Olympics to here? And you look at that great first step, and she said, hey, knock on wood, the best is yet to come.
Good for her. She's got a chance for the trifecta this year. NCAA championship, Olympic gold, maybe a WNBA championship as well. Chance for Atlanta to go on top. Castro Marquez, good three-point shooter. How about that one?
Setting a lot of screens high, and they're taking that 18-foot jumper, and they're getting no rebounding.
Leslie out top, fakes the three. Inside handoff for Parker was intercepted. Atlanta taking it back the other way. Lennox in for the bucket. How about that? Atlanta leading it 11-9, just a little more than 4 minutes into this first quarter.
Lennox out of Louisiana Tech has that great foot speed. She'll beat you down the floor 9 times out of 10 if you're not hustling. And after that Lisa Leslie miss, it was Lennox who was taking off, and she finished.
We got a timeout here in the first quarter. 5 minutes and 36 seconds remaining. The foul was on Allison Bales. And Atlanta's got the lead. Mary back. Nothing to lose tonight. And Coop said if they start firing it up and hitting three-point shots, they might make it interesting. Lisa Leslie inside, and she'll go to the line. Chance to tie it up once again.
What we're finding is that the Dream does not have the front line to match up against the Sparks front line, especially the athleticism of Lisa Leslie. She starts to put the ball on the floor a little bit more, little fake. She takes 2 defenders to the hole and finishes. One thing Coop was saying is she doesn't have the body fat she had last year. She actually lost body fat after having her daughter Lauren. So she goes in there, she gets banged up, and she has to finish. She did there.
We're all tied at 14. Lisa coming into the game, 17th in the league in scoring, 15.5 points, number 2 in rebounding. Right behind Candace Parker. Trap defense out top. Castro Marquez from in front of the LA bench. He's way off the mark tonight. Bobbitt leading the break. Missed the shot. I'll tell you what, when your big runs down there that fast, you might want to feed her.
Yeah, and that's where Bobbitt's best. I mean, that's what she did for Tennessee, is leading that break and dishing to the likes of Candace Parker. This time she had another big.
Castro Marquez passed down low. Faked everybody out like she was going to shoot. And the ball out of bounds to the Sparks. Now we will have a legitimate timeout. 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in the first quarter in Los Angeles. It's the Sparks 14 and the Atlanta Dream 14. Her bottom lip swelled up so much that she had to go to the hospital, and something, an artery or something, burst inside. And it was weird because at practice yesterday, everybody was kind of making some lighthearted fun of it, and she ended up going to the hospital. There it is. I'm sure she's real thrilled that I got that shot for her. But this is in practice yesterday. Getting ready to play against a team that's only won 3 games all year, but that's the way they do it. Dee got it over the right eye. And 5 stitches, had to take her to the hospital too.
Guess there's a reason they're number 1 in the WNBA in defense.
Gotta work.
Make you pay one way or the other.
See if they can break this 14 all time. There's Dee. Brown with the rebound.
I'd like to see them reset their offense. We're seeing a lot of the big posts come out and shoot those 15-footers. Bobbitt needs to dish in, find the best positioning, and hit the cutter.
Milton Jones off the mark again. Rebound Lennox this time. And they're certainly not taking advantage of their height inside. D'Souza has it stripped away. Lada's got it. Guarded right now by Lisa.
There's a mismatch. Boy,
Lada
she
for
had
three.
it.
Off the heel. Rebound Bales. And a reset for the Atlanta Dream.
Yeah, D'Souza had the mismatch because she had the 5'2" bobbin on her back and just didn't take advantage.
Lennox going to the hole. She puts Atlanta up by 2.
They say she's so much like Simone Augustus, so hard to defend, so quick off the dribble. It's just a matter of getting some support players around her because you get double and triple team on Lennox.
Parker off the double, finds Milton Jones. We got a tie game at 16.
Yeah, Parker relatively quiet because she's doing so much dishing right now here in the first quarter.
Benny Lennox leads this team in scoring and rebounding, but she will take shots like that. 18 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists per game. Bobbitt going after it. But Atlanta comes out with it. Lennox down the sideline. Scoops it up, rolls it off, Bales after it. And Milton Jones comes out with it at the bottom. Keisha Brown steps into a 3. Rebound, Leslie inside. Shot was knocked away. Lennox has it again.
Well, you see this team is just up and back playing one-on-one basketball, full court. No symmetry to either side's offense, and now Lada's trying to say, hey, let's run at least one of our plays. You know it's probably going to go through Lennox, but let's run a play.
Not that play. Turnover gives it back to the Sparks with 2:33 to go here in the first.
You get an expansion team, the breakdown on offense is the team's just trying to find that chemistry. We were talking to Mary Nell Metters before the game, and she said, listen, people were late coming to our team from overseas, so we had that disadvantage as well as being an expansion team. During the Olympic break, we just tried to get everybody on the same page. And since that time, they gave them 2 weeks off, and then they started having a gut check, finding some chemistry, and playing like they know how. Unfortunately, they have only 7 games after the Olympic break to find that chemistry.
Now that break was their real training camp when they actually had their full complement of players there. New backcourt for the Sparks, Marie Ferdinand Harris and Tamika Johnson. This is Parker. There's Ferdinand Harris. Boy, Sparks having trouble getting it down. 6 for 16 in the shooting department so far.
And again, one of the focuses, coming out strong, hitting the cutters who are the post players.
Lennox bangs it off the iron. D'Souza grabs the rebound. They'll go out top to Lada.
To look at the Sparks, which is a team that's playoff bound, and the Dream, which is a team that has 3 wins tied in the first quarter. Again, you're saying Sparks, these playoff teams are not going to be this forgiving. What do they need to do? Set up their offense, run some screens. You can see right now they're all pointing fingers. Somebody run a play. Delisha Milton-Jones is saying, hey, there's the cutter. Here comes Parker off the double screen.
That J was by Castro Marquez, going against some pretty nice defense from Delisha Milton-Jones. Ferdinand Harris inside. She'll take it and go to the line. All tied at 18.
Well, Ferdinand Harris, just the great foot speed out of the player from LSU. Look at her fake and then go left and leave Lennox in the dust. She's looking for help. The help is late in getting there. Look, there's the help at the last second, and Ferdinand Harris is going to get the opportunity for a 3-point play. One of the quickest teams in the WNBA has to be the Sparks. So quick off the dribble.
5 team fouls against Atlanta, and Ferdinand Harris, one of the top free throw shooters in the league. Misfires on that one, but the Sparks keep it alive with an offensive rebound. We'll take it down to the 1-minute mark remaining here in the first. Parker. Milton Jones down low, the reverse is good. Lost her headband in the process.
Everybody focusing on Parker, and again, the unselfish Parker finding the open post player underneath. Second in the team in assists is Candace Parker. And I'll tell you, Larry, has to be your WNBA Rookie of the Year. Just
no question.
Consistency in every facet of her game since she left Tennessee after her junior year.
No question, and I think you will see she will get strong consideration for most valuable player in this league. And I think Lisa Leslie should be the defensive player of the year this year. Leads the league in blocks. They've been really solid inside. Lennox draws some contact. She'll get some free throws coming up.
You know, one of the things of Betty Lennox, she is kind of a journey player, having played for a number of teams, including Seattle. But The issue with her was she had some chemistry issues. She had a flare-up with head coach Marinelle Metters just about 3 weeks ago after a tough loss, and they say it's tough to try and contain her because everyone was saying, why wasn't she protected in the expansion draft? She's such a great scorer. Well, she's had some friction with some past coaches. They say that's all behind them, and perhaps starting to build more of the team around her scoring prowess.
Drafted by Minnesota back in 2000, number 6 overall pick. Then the expansion draft to Seattle. Was the rookie of the year with Minnesota. Got traded in 2003 to Miami. Dispersal draft to Cleveland in 03. And on her way to Seattle in that dispersal draft. And once again in the expansion draft, now in Atlanta. She certainly has skills, no question about that. Parker against the double. Goes to the bank, no deposit. And Bales with the rebound for the Dream. Atlanta did not get their first win of the season until July 5th. They got a win against Chicago, their only home win of the season. De Sousa off the window.
Boy, I'll tell you, Seattle is probably watching this game with a big smile on their face because as the Dream talked about doing some upsetting here, they're leading the Sparks by playing very aggressive on the offensive end.
That's Ferdinand Harris down low, and she'll go to the line. To put it quite simply for you, Seattle will clinch the number 2 spot in the West if the Sparks lose tonight to Atlanta, or if Seattle beats Atlanta tomorrow night up at Key Arena. The Sparks can only clinch the number 2 spot if they win their next 2 games and Seattle loses to Atlanta tomorrow night. That's the simple version. You can get the long version on the internet. Ferdinand Harris, free throw good. And believe me, it is a long version for all the possibilities. Sacramento still has a chance of moving up to the number 4 spot. And interestingly enough, they were scheduled to play at Houston tomorrow night. Because of Hurricane Ike heading that way, they have postponed that game. And they're hoping to reschedule it for Monday night. So the regular season ends Sunday, but we may not know all of the possibilities and all of the positioning for the playoffs until after that Monday night game. Both freebies good. They're tied at 22. Jennifer Lacey in the game for the first time. And trying to beat the buzzers, Lennox couldn't get it done. Lennox 2 for 8 in the shooting department in the first quarter. In the first game between these two teams, she had 4 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, but hit only 1 of 10 shots from the field. Second quarter coming up from Los Angeles. Glad to have you with us tonight. We're back in a moment ahead. And this week on Fox Saturday Baseball, pennant race is heating up as the Braves take on Jose Reyes and a Mets team looking to keep pace in the National League East. Or the Brewers battle the Phillies in a possible playoff preview. Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week returns this week at 12:30 p.m. Pacific in high definition, only on Fox. Check your local listings for the game and the start time in your area.
You know, a couple of things in that first quarter. One, I wanted to see more offensive performance from Shannon Bobbitt. I don't think we're as close to the WNBA playoffs, and she's not hit on all cylinders to get the ball to her big post players in a position to score. Secondly, it didn't seem like the Sparks had focus in that first quarter. Just some errant passing, not getting back on transition defense. And again, the players need to go to the rim stronger, score earlier, and not play cat and mouse with teams and then play catch up. And go ahead. I'm sorry, Larry.
The foul was on Candace Parker, her first. And we see Sydney Spencer for the first time as Alicia Milton-Jones sits down. Coming up at halftime, I'll get a chance to chat with Alicia. Birthday girl today. A lot of misses inside. That's Tamika Johnson up high for the rebound. This Atlanta team, that's Sydney Spencer for 3. That's her specialty, but not that time. Atlanta, one of the worst teams in the league in assists, and not very good in the turnover department either. But they had 5 assists on their 8 baskets in the first quarter. Sparks 6 assists on their 8. And Atlanta with 5 assists and just 3 turnovers. Lennox from long distance.
Wow.
Got it.
Ferdinand Harris was just in her back pocket, and simply Lennox did a pump fake, shook Ferdinand Harris, and then just smooth as silk dropped it down.
3-point lead. Lennox has got 9. And we'll see if the Sparks have got an answer here. Leslie down low to Parker. She was open for a second, but the pass was off the mark.
And Parker looking at the official like she got pushed out of her comfort zone. And of course, as Michael Cooper said, we won't get those calls, but we'll still fight for them.
Bucket inside as Jennifer Lacey, former Pepperdine star. in the Malibu area.
You see how she asked for the ball? She said, guard, here, I'm going to lead. Lead me to the basket. It's exactly what Coop wants the Sparks to do when they make those cuts in the paint.
Ferdinand for three. That's short. Atlanta with a 5-point lead, and they've got the basketball on the break. Lennox rolls it in. 29-22.
Yeah.
I think Coop wants a timeout here. Yeah, he does. Not real happy with 8 minutes and 19 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. Atlanta, a team on the season that averages 74 points per game, 10th worst in the league, has put together a 7-zip run here in the second quarter, and they're leading it here as we've got a timeout.
Where do you keep your cell phone?
I usually keep it in one of my pockets. I just don't know which one.
And where's your cell phone?
Wait a minute. I know it's in here somewhere.
Sound familiar? Well, if you...
Katie Feenstra in the game for the first time. Where's number 44? She'll be guarding Lisa Leslie at the moment.
Part of that difference was Lennox only had 4 points in that first game. She's already got 11. They haven't found a solution to Betty Lennox.
We got a whistle and a foul away from the ball.
They haven't found a solution to get the ball into Leslie so she can turn and be effective. What the Dream is doing very, very successfully is pushing Lisa Leslie out on the perimeter, forcing her either to pass inside or take the outside shot.
14 on the shot clock as the Sparks get it in. Spencer at the baseline. They're working out top to Meek. Parker got all the moves. Shot clock running down, 3, 2. Johnson fires to beat the clock, and the rebound comes down to Feenstra. Kristen Haney in the game for the first time. Good pass up to Tamara Young, and Young goes in for the bucket. She'll go to the line. Chance for a 3-point play. This is just the kind of thing Michael Cooper does not want to see. And the longer you leave Atlanta around, keeping it close, the more dangerous they become.
Transition defense, no one back again to get and counter the very fast Atlanta Dream. And you know that they don't want to get in the quarter court because they can't match up, so they're going to be taking off on a missed shot. And no one back there for the transition D.
Young completes the 3-point play. A 10-point lead for Atlanta. 7:45 to go here in the first half.
You know, it's that Sparks coming out flat, which has been their Achilles heel all season long. And then they play the second half trying to play catch up. But it's their mantra coming in today is we got to work on us, not on what the Dream throws at us. And right now, they have no synchronicity on the offensive end.
Foul on Ferdinand Harris. She's on the floor right now with Tamika Johnson. Leslie, Sydney Spencer, and Delisha Milton-Jones, and Marie will go out. And Muriel Page will make her first appearance in the game. The foul was on Lennox, her second. 2 against the Dream here in the second quarter. And another inbound from Maverick. Johnson with the right-hand dribble. Finds Spencer in the paint. Kicked around, wouldn't go. Finished with another rebound. Kristen Haney was with Sacramento last year, picked up in the expansion draft. Lennox misfires. Young with the rebound. Out to Haney, good 3-point shooter. In and out. Feenstra. Big player, but you know what? Sparks have a bigger player on the bench. We haven't seen Margot Dudek yet. And we've got a foul against the Sparks. I think Michael Cooper was hoping to get Margot Dudek in late in the first quarter, give her a chance to get going and then hit the timeout. But I think he also expected his team to be in the lead near the end of the first quarter, and that's not the case at all.
You know, they're not getting their cushion, and the Dream do have those big bodies, as you mentioned, Larry. Feenstra's 6'8". You got Bales, who's 6'7". They do have a big front line. You'd love to get Dudek in there to get
Feenstra throws it away. Here comes Meek. No good. Lacey back on the defense. Sparks are down by 10. Lacey straight away. Good. Look out.
And one thing the Dream isn't doing is beating themselves. The first couple possessions down the floor, they turn the ball over. They're not doing that right now. Very careful with their passing, and they're not missing.
Atlanta shooting 50% from the field. They are 4 of 10 from outside the arc. All right, let's check in with Lindsay Soto. Linz.
A frustrating game for the Sparks so far. I've been keeping my eye on Michael Cooper. He has been very demonstrative on the bench, shaking his head, putting his head in his hands, yelling to players on the court, venting from time to time to assistant coach Marianne Stanley, who's sitting 2 seats away from him. Usually we talk to him in between the first quarter and the second quarter. This time he went right into the huddle and didn't come out, spent the entire time talking to the ladies. Hard to know what he's most frustrated about in this game so far, but he is obviously very frustrated.
Leslie on the block. Misses inside with the left hand. Milton Jones, put back. That won't go. Leslie again. That won't go, but she will go to the line.
Again, one of the things the Sparks worked on in the Olympic break was offensive rebounding because they trailed in that. Lisa Leslie had a good look at it. Again, getting pushed by 2 and 3 bodies. So here's a second chance opportunity. Jones goes up weak side board. Someone else comes in. That's Leslie, goes back up, and will get her opportunities at the line. But watch again how many bodies just bounce off Lisa Leslie once she gets 5 feet and in.
Free throw, kicks around and drops through. The foul was on Kasha Terry, who just came in the game. Started the season with Indiana, got waived just before the start of the season, and signed on with Atlanta in late June.
You know, Larry, focus just not there from the tip. You wonder if they're not thinking about, hey, we've got Seattle next, we've got the playoffs after that. This team only has 3 wins. And right out of the gate, a little slow off the dribble.
Hard to figure. Young's got it. Haney out top.
And in a little bit of a zone.
Yep, Sparks go into his zone. And that's Castro Marquez for 3.
When the Dream shoots this well, like they did in the game against Indiana and almost beat Indiana on September 8th, they are a very, very tough team. It's finishing for them.
Got an offensive foul. It's against Lisa Leslie. That'll be the first on Lisa. Candace Parker will come in, and Leslie will sit down.
Wide open off the wing, and again, that zone did not stretch to defend it for the Sparks.
Well, Atlanta doesn't do a whole lot of things really well statistically, but they are 5th best in the league in 3-point shooting. Steal for the Sparks.
And a lot of that is Lennox.
Each team now with 5 turnovers. Parker to Bobbitt. Page keeps it alive, but it's grabbed by Young.
You watch where Candace Parker is touching the ball. Most of her touches are coming 15 feet and out with her back to the basket. She has no maneuverability right now.
Young takes it in, brings it back. Atlanta is the worst rebounding team in the league. They're out-rebounding the Sparks now, 17-14. Missed inside by Lacey. Sparks down by 14. Parker taking it to the hole.
The block, the dribble through the legs, and the finish. And that is your WNBA Rookie of the Year from coast to coast.
Marinelle Metters wants a timeout for the Atlanta Dream. Her team's lead has been nipped down to 12. And it almost feels strange just saying it. Atlanta leading 38-26. They've outscored the Sparks 16-4 in this quarter.
Hitting the game-winning shot in the final seconds to secure LA's 2nd straight WNBA title. She actually signed with Atlanta back on August 15th, but she will finish the season without having played for the Dream at all. She had a baby in June and never really got back into playing shape. Coach Metters tells me she's about 10 pounds away from her playing weight where they would like her to be. So, as I mentioned, they signed her, but she will finish the season without having played for them, which sort of raises the question about why they actually signed her. You would have thought that they would have taken a look at her to see if she was in playing shape. They might have just wanted to get their foot in the door for next season, hoping that getting some practice time in with that team will lead her to sign with them as a free agent then.
Now, Nikki T can certainly play. Well, we miss you, Nikki. Wish you were on the trip here. Had her baby back in June. Signed in mid-August with Atlanta. Parker goes in and scores. Looks like she's hurt. Take a shot there. Here's an interesting number for you. Atlanta is the 2nd worst team in the league in the assist department. They average 14 per game. They've got 11 already in this game on their 14 baskets. Here's Parker.
You know, in that timeout, you can see Michael Cooper, how fired up he was, and said somebody on offense has to take charge. And Parker, up to that basket, only had 5 points. And who better who better than the first pick in the WNBA draft than Candace Parker? She's led the Sparks all along, but she hasn't got the ball in a good position. So on that basket, she took matters into her own hands, did a little move along the baseline. And I talked to Parker and I said, who's the tougher coach, Michael Cooper or Pat Summitt? And she looked at me and she said, they're both tough, but in different ways. But she said, Coop is relentless.
Young taking it inside. It got swatted away, and we've got a foul call. Atlanta 6 for 11 from the field in this quarter. The Sparks 1 for 9. I asked Sydney Spencer last year the same question, and she said, well, they're both good coaches, but Pat Summitt yells more. If you're watching Pat, it was all in good fun.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because Candace will say that Michael Cooper does not give them a break in practice. She said, boy, she thought she worked hard for Pat Summitt, but she'll come into practices and she'll say, Coop, come on, can't you cut us a little slack? And Lisa Leslie will pipe in, Candace, your body will do what your mind tells it. And she said, my mind's not telling it today. Coop, just back off. And Coop never does.
An 11-point lead now for Atlanta. And we're inside of 4 minutes to go here in the first half. Don't forget halftime. I'll sit down and talk with the birthday girl, Alicia Milton-Jones.
You can see they are looking for Parker a little bit more. That last flash was for Parker. They couldn't get her the ball.
Spencer with the miss. Castro Marquez misses off the window. Here come the Sparks. Boy, Atlanta got back in a hurry. One thing Mary Nell Metters said, there's been no question about effort from this team this year. Off the mark by Parker.
Oh, they're doing all the right things. They're taking high percentage shot. They're distributing. 5 different players in the scoring column.
Haney with the pull-up. And Parker with the rebound. Parker leads the WNBA with 16 double-doubles this year. Lisa Leslie not far behind with 14.
And that's the contact that Candace Parker's been trying to draw. And you could see 3-4 times down the floor, she'd look at the official after the shot and she'd say, no call. Now she draws the contact, and then she'll get her opportunities at the line. But you see the shoulder down, and again, that's her bad shoulder. A little wincing, back off, gets the whistle, and will go to the line.
Lisa Leslie back in. Muriel Page sits down. Foul on Castro Marquez. 5 against the team. A bonus situation for the next 3 minutes and a tick.
Parker will tell you how supportive her family has been in the move to Los Angeles, but she always says Lisa Leslie is right there, Delisha Milton-Jones, Michael Cooper. They talked to her about playing weight, about the rigors of the WNBA, the travel, and she said it hasn't been an easy transition, but with players like Lisa Leslie, it's been an easier transition for me.
In our last 4 games, coming into this one, 45 rebounds for Candace Parker. Free throw makes it a 9-point game.
She has the quicks to get in the rebounding position.
10 points for CP. Lotta to Lennox. Never drew iron on that one, but a rebound and a reset for Atlanta.
And a good help defense by the Sparks that time down the floor.
Talk about long distance, my goodness. Lotta fired up almost midcourt.
I had to with the shot clock.
Here come the Sparks. Milton-Jones gets it in. It's a 7-point game. 10 points for Milton-Jones. She joins Parker in double-digit points.
Starting it on defense. See if the Sparks get the offense again through their defense, which they did that last time down the floor.
Tamara Young inside to Bales. And another offensive rebound.
Boxing out better for the Sparks this quarter than the first quarter. Rebounding, help defense better for the Sparks.
Taking it down to the 2-minute mark remaining here in the first half. Young drives on Parker, and we've got a 3-second violation inside. Sparks will get it back on the turnover. 6 turnovers now against Atlanta, 5 against the Sparks. Here's Coop. Sparks are on a 9-2 run in the last 3 minutes, 50 seconds or so. Parker down low, got fouled by Lennox.
Well, again, the 2 bumps, Larry. You could see the cut by Parker and the roll and the flash, and Lisa Leslie was just waiting for her to get open. But what's happening is 2 and 3 Atlanta players are just bumping Parker so she can't make the smooth cut.
3 fouls on Lennox. Coop has talked all year long Give up the ball and cut.
Yeah, you saw the cut, and then she tries to go back door, and she gets bumped again, and she'll get her opportunity at the line.
The applause for Margot Didek, who's checking in at the scorer's table. 7-foot 2-inch player out of Poland. And making her first appearance for the LA Sparks. There she comes. And watch when you see her. She makes Lisa and Candace and Alicia look tiny. Oh, what a nice lady. Back in '98, first overall pick in the draft by the old Utah Stars, played 5 years there. Then moved on to San Antonio when the franchise moved. 2005, traded to Connecticut for Katie Feenstra, who's now on the court for Atlanta. And here she is.
Watch how much space she takes up at 7'2". I mean, when you're standing next to Parker, who's 6'5", try and get through that. And Lisa Leslie, 6'4".
This is how you try to beat it from outside. Haney can't get it. And ball out of bounds. Margot says she doesn't have her wind, doesn't have her conditioning. And watching her yesterday, she definitely has her shot. She's got her moves to the basket. And Coop says, you know, block some shots, get some rebounds, play some defense. That's all we need. I was talking to Christy Thomas at practice just in. By the way, nice to see Christy off the crutches after her knee surgery. That's Feenstra inside. They got 1:20 to go. Sparks have cut it down to a 5-point game. Haney with a line drive for two. And Christy I said, Christy, you've played against Margot before. What's it like? And she said, you know, a couple years ago, we were playing against Connecticut, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to take it right at her. And she said, I went inside, and she swatted it right back in my face, and I got it back. There's Margot inside, and it's knocked away by Haney out of bounds. Christy said, I got it back, and I said, I'm going to take it right back in at her again, and I didn't. She swatted it away, and I figured, you know what, I better try something else. This isn't working.
You know, Didek brings the ball down, which I don't know why you do when you're 7'2". It's something Marianne Stanley was working on the post players before the game today. She said, don't bring it down. These guards are too quick. They'll swat you.
Inside of a minute to play. Bobbitt, I think she was trying to bounce it. I don't know if it's for D or for Margot. Didn't get to either one of them.
Now you look at Bobbitt at 5'2", try to get it to the 7'2" Didek, and it's just a tall order.
Literally. 45 to go. Sparks have trailed by as many as 14 points. And now down by 7. Milton Jones with the tap. Now Latta. Taking it all the way in. Yeah, she turned it over, didn't she? Yeah. Got a palm on the basketball. 7 turnovers now against Atlanta.
Lucky for Didek, because she was just watching that play. You could see her foot did not leave the floor because she was watching Latta dribble past her. She still has to get those quicks.
Now Atlanta head coach Marinelle Metters, I asked her before the game, what did you tell your team about playing against Margot? She said, don't take it inside against her. Just don't. It doesn't work. Sydney Spencer with the fade, no good. Rebound Milton Jones, blocked by Bales. Milton Jones again, the putback no good, and Bales has got the rebound.
Oh, good defense by the Dream inside. 3 looks.
Well, Bales, when she was a senior at Duke, had 151 blocked shots. That was 1 shy of the NCAA record. Final shot off the iron at the buzzer. And how about the Atlanta Dream? They may think they're dreaming right now. They've got a 7-point lead at intermission. And they're shooting just under 50%. The Sparks, 31%. Top scorer in the first half, Candace Parker with a dozen. We're back in a moment.
Have increased throughout the year. Of course, she wasn't given the reins in the early going. She needed to get her feet under for the WNBA, but we would have expected her to be a little bit more seasoned in the scoring column, and that has increased, but not to the likes where they'd like it to be to get ready for the playoffs. She needs to hit those jumpers, but more importantly, as Michael Cooper said, she's missing the flashing posts. And when you're missing those opportunities, then you're just forced to create and break it down on offense, and you can't take advantage of the 3 Olympian strengths.
How far has Shannon Bobbitt come, however? She was inactive the first time these two teams played back in May. All right, so Bobbitt's out there along with Keisha Brown, Candace Parker, Alicia Milton-Jones, and Lisa Leslie. Atlanta will have it first as we start the third. Latta, Lennox, Bales, Castro Marquez, and D'Souza on the floor for the Dream.
And it's not, to see how the Sparks do on defense. They're number 1 in the WNBA in defense, and the Dream are last, yet they flip-flopped in this game.
Here they come again.
Haven't seen the intensity, Larry, on defense. No steal opportunities, no takeaways, no aggressive, frenetic in-your-face by the Sparks at all on defense.
Lennox has got 13 points.
The back
there
door.
You go.
Well, there's somebody snoozing, and again, it's the high-low. We saw them practice before the game, and it's Delisha Milton-Jones on the receiving end. Somebody snoozed for the Dream.
A dozen points for Dee. She's tied with Parker for team high. Castro Marquez had a double screen in front of her, missed the 3.
And a wide open.
Oh, look at Bales. Took it right away. Castro Marquez again. Don't give her too many tries. How about that? Back to a 10-point lead.
She's a good get from Seattle, and obviously she's been up and down. Like to see her score a little bit more, but you give her 2 and 3 looks from 10 feet out.
Coop's not happy. He wants a timeout. I think he's going to make some personnel changes here right away.
You got to see people fight through screens. We're not seeing that in the Sparks. You got to see somebody guard the likes of Castro Marquez a little closer. They're not doing it.
Coop is not fooling around. He doesn't want a 20-second timeout. He's taking a full timeout here. And we're early in the third quarter. The Sparks trailing by 10.
3 looks to the outside shooters, and they're going to knock it down. Castro Marquez has just got the great outside shot. She's the international player. She's comfortable out there. You got to step up on defense.
Sparks going with a bigger lineup. They brought Muriel Page in place of Shannon Bobbitt. And the Sparks lose it on another turnover.
Well, they need a ball handler here, and they've got 1 small and 4 bigs. So you're going to see if they can try and work it into the bigs a little bit more.
And maybe we'll see Candace Parker handle the basketball a little bit more as well. Lotta from long distance. Sousa with the board. They'll get it to Castro Marquez. Coop calling a full timeout with 1 minute and 11 seconds gone here in the third.
You know, defensively, he called it after the breakdown in defense, and you know he advocates strong defense, and they're too flat.
D'Souza down low, 4 on the shot clock. Misses inside.
Where was the help defense for the Sparks? They got the weak side board, but no help came over.
Page brings it up in a hurry. Leslie to Milton-Jones. Tipped out top. Parker. KB.
1 out, 4 in.
Forced that one up. I think KB thought there was contact and a foul. Just kind of tossed it up, never got there. I want to welcome all of those who are watching on NBA TV around the country, around the world. Glad to have you with us here in Los Angeles, especially those of you watching down in Texas where Hurricane Ike is heading that way. Be careful down there. We hope an angel goes in front of that hurricane and a rainbow follows it for you. Parker with the block shot, but she's going to get called for the foul.
I'll tell you, this will be the biggest win in the Dreams season if they upend the Sparks, who are now squarely in the WNBA playoffs. They're hungry. Betty Lennox is fearless. She's not afraid to shoot. She's getting her opportunities at the free throw line, and they are relentless.
Well, how would you like to be Atlanta and close out your season with wins over Los Angeles and Seattle on back-to-back nights? They're up at Key Arena tomorrow. That'll be pretty impressive, huh?
You wish the season was a month longer when you start to hit your stride at the end of September.
49-37 Atlanta. Well, after tonight, just 1 game left for the Dream. They have 3 wins, the all-time record. Leslie going inside against D'Souza, former teammates, and the foul is going to be on Erica D'Souza.
And that's the contact that Lisa Leslie wanted to draw. You saw the great, quick first step to try and get around D'Souza, but drew contact because D'Souza can't keep up with that foot speed. And Lisa again will go to the line.
3 fouls on D'Souza. That's the first against the team here. Erica D'Souza played for the Sparks back in 2002, played 11 games. Didn't take a whole lot of shots, just went 5 for 14. But played internationally, and she's had some big games.
Larry, I don't know why they aren't going at her more. She had the fractured leg this season, came back, but then she injured it again, so she missed the Olympics for the Brazilian Olympic team. Keep going at her. She's a step slow.
Back to a 10-point game as we count it down to 7 minutes. remaining here in the third. As I mentioned, Lennox just, talk about focus, just lost it right there. Usually you look at your hand when something like that happens, blame it on your hand. But 2 games left. The all-time worst record for a season, 5-29, set by Chicago back in 2006 in their expansion year. So if Atlanta can win out, they can at least tie that. If they lose one or both, they're in the record books. Sparks have got it with 14 on the shot clock. The inbound, baseline right with Parker. Milton Jones scooped it, lost it, got it back. Well, Sparks just out of sync here.
Waiting too long for plays to develop on the offensive end.
Inside to Parker, catch, turn, shoot, good.
See that quick passing from Jones, and usually it's Candace Parker involved, and Parker finishes. But when they're on all cylinders, they have quick, crisp passing. And there again, they find Parker, the mismatch down low, and she will finish. You know, the interesting thing, you watch Candace Parker, and she slaps Ivory Latta and says, okay, we're okay. She had to slap every Dreams player's hand as they walked onto the floor. I think she is a friend to everybody in women's basketball.
Freebie good. 7-point. Atlanta leads. Sparks are going to put on full court pressure.
Yeah, and this is the time you see the Sparks start to kick it up a notch. It's in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. They sense the end, and this is where the competitive juices start to flow. The question is, can they make up the difference?
Latta on the drive and the scoop. And a rebound and a reset for Atlanta. They left Marquez Castro alone. Well, she didn't make him pay. Sparks bring it back with Leslie stripped away by Castro Marquez, and she was on the baseline. Sparks will hang on to it. 6:07 remaining here in the third.
You know, one of the things we were talking to Coop about before the game was when Lisa Leslie scores only in single digits, it seems like the Sparks can't win, that they need her offensive performance. And he said, you know, I don't agree with that. We do so many other things well, so many other players can contribute, and Lisa is such a great defender.
Milton Jones from outside. Oh, they're going to give her a 3.
And that's one of the players he was talking about stepping up. Milton Jones has come alive offensively here after the Olympic break. And with those offensive contributions, it takes the pressure off Lisa Leslie to score.
That was LA's first 3-point shot of the night in 9 tries. They're shooting 11% from outside the arc. Lennox with 2 defenders, puts it up, never drew iron. Leslie the rebound, she got fouled down low.
Boy, did you see her just split the Olympians? She faked one way and split Milton Jones, and Candace Parker got them both to leave their feet and couldn't knock it down.
Look at Betty. She is frustrated. Great move, and as they say, rotten shot. Way back when Lisa Leslie had the first dunk in WNBA history, it was Betty Lennox who had the closest view of it when she was playing for the Miami Soul. She tried to chase her down, thought about grabbing Lisa by the leg, but decided better. She talks about getting posterized, but she was just in the area code, that's all. Sparks are on an 8-2 run in the last 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Going down low to Parker. Out to KB for 3. Nope, off the hardware. Leslie's after it. And the Sparks will get a fresh 24.
Yeah, you need the guards to start knocking it down from the outside.
Leslie rolls it in and she's fouled by Feenstra.
Lisa Leslie off-ball movement has created opportunities for her. She is just getting more physical, gets the defender Feenstra on her back and is able to finish. But watch her seal here, go baseline, and that is vintage Lisa Leslie.
Sparks have cut it down to a 2-point game with 5 minutes and 11 seconds remaining. Here we go to the big guns. Is it a 1-point game? No. Way off the mark. Feenstra battling with Milton Jones. And Lennox still got some quicks, no question about that.
A good transition D for Sparks. Get down, get in position, and now back into man-to-man.
Latta with the dribble drive. Off the window, no good. Parker to Milton Jones. Touchdown, Los Angeles. We got a tie game at 49. 17 points to Milton Jones.
We're seeing the explosion on offense. Again, the transition offense with the bigs being able to run and finish. And we didn't see that in the first half for the Sparks.
Tamara Young in for Atlanta. She's got it. They're working inside to Feenstra. Off the window and in.
Boy, that was a tough battle. You saw Lisa Leslie reach in first and Feenstra kind of reach back, and they're just pushing off one another.
Leslie taking it inside for the reverse, and she got around Feenstra to tie it at 51.
That sent a message, Larry, because Lisa Leslie wasn't happy Feenstra beat her last time. So what you didn't see was Leslie push Feenstra, create some room, and be able to get that opportunity.
Lennox guarded by Milton Jones. Scoots inside again and scores. 2-point lead for Atlanta. 17 points for Betty Lennox, and the Sparks throw it away.
There is a off-the-ball pushing match by Lisa Leslie and Feenstra, and that last time down the floor, Feenstra just created some room and cleared Lisa Leslie out so she couldn't defend Lennox. See, there they are. There's always contact between Leslie, and what Feenstra did, she drew Leslie out far enough that Leslie couldn't give any help defense, and Lennox gets the easy basket. And now they're going to call it.
Offensive foul against Atlanta.
And it's against Feenstra for pushing Lisa Leslie in the back. And I'll tell you, that's equal opportunity offenders, but the call goes against the non-Olympian in Feenstra.
4 on Feenstra, and 4 now against the Atlanta Dream. 3:30 to play here in the third. If you thought this was going to be a blowout, ain't happening. Leslie to Page. It banged around inside. Loose ball. Page on the floor will have a jump. Well, Page must feel like a pinball. She was getting bounced around pretty good down there.
Well, it's almost like it's red zone offense for the Sparks. They do their best from 20 yards and in. For here, it's 10 feet and in. And you have 2 guards just hanging out on the perimeter saying, hey, just kick me out the ball. Look how much, look, 3, 4 defenders for the Dream are clogging the paint.
Muriel Page jumping against Kasha Terry. 6 seconds on the shot clock. And now Leslie and Bales jockeying for position. Here we go. Maybe not. I think June Courteau with the fake threw everybody off the first time. They'll try it again. And the Sparks have got it. Watch the shot clock. 3, 2. They're not going to get it. Wow. You win the tip, but you don't know the clock. Right in front of your own bench.
And when you're this late in the season, those little details are going to come back to bite you.
10 turnovers against the Sparks. Atlanta by 2 with 3 minutes to go in the third. And you did not hear me wrong. Inside for Terry, and she's fouled by Leslie.
Yeah. That time, Lisa didn't get the call, and it was the reach-in. She knew it. It was a late reach-in. There, again, aggressive contact before the ball, and then the reach-in by Lisa Leslie.
2 fouls on Lisa, 2 on the team. Muriel Page will take a chair, and Sydney Spencer will come in and guard the inbound pass by Tamara Young.
Great bench depth for the Sparks.
And Young lost it out of bounds.
One of the things Michael Cooper was saying to you and I, Larry, before the game is Sydney Spencer has really upped it on the defensive end. So now he feels he can use her more on the offensive end. And great to see her. If she could start getting hot from the outside, it's a whole new ball game.
And interesting, Cooper's been using her more at the 4 position in recent games. So she's been playing down low and trying to score inside. Everybody knows how she can shoot from outside. She's 10th best in the league in 3-point shooting.
Well, they're trying to get her open. She just couldn't get Lennox on her heels.
Parker down low. The fade. Good.
Parker's height at 6'4", 6'5", creates so many mismatches, and she had one down low, recognized it as soon as she got the ball and did a little fade away.
Game tied at 53. Bales out top. There's Lennox, and that one is going out of bounds. Sparks will get it back, so the turnover is kind of shifting over to Atlanta now. That's their 11th.
Well, we're seeing the defensive intensity kick it up a notch, a little bit more help defense for the Sparks. And offensively, we're seeing Parker get into the fold and the rhythm with Lisa Leslie. But I'll tell you, Parker has been the consistent from the get-go. From the tap of this game, Parker has been in the mix.
Milton Jones on her birthday. And ball out of bounds off of LA.
We were talking to Candace Parker. She's actually got a home out here in LA. She said, yeah, now this is home. I'm making this area my home, not Illinois, not Tennessee, but LA. And year-round, she's going to continue to work on her game. And you think, wow, if she kicks it up a notch, where she can be.
Born in St. Louis, went to Naperville Central High School in Illinois, and back-to-back state championships there. Lennox. Rebound Parker. He's got 17 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Milton Jones lost it on the way in. I think she got bailed out on a foul call. Who did they catch down there, Terry? Yeah, Cash Terry. It's her second. 5 now against the team, so a bonus situation for the Sparks. There's 1 minute and 37 seconds remaining in the third. We're all stuck on 53.
Sparks will tell you during the Olympic break when Alicia Milton-Jones, Candace Parker, and Lisa Leslie were over in Beijing, they worked mostly on defense and rebounding. Now they're trying to get their offense clicking to catch up with the great defense. Remember, they're number 1 in the WNBA in defense.
And a happy 34th to D. The Golden Trio. Lisa Leslie with her 4th consecutive gold medal in her final Olympic competition. Sparks up by 2. 90 seconds to go in the third. Spencer guarding Young. Fires. Rebound grabbed by Lacey. She takes it and puts it in. Jen Lacey ties the game at 55. She got 7 points off the bench. I think the key is pretty obvious here tonight. The Sparks are going to get what they need from the 3 on the front line. Parker misses inside but gets her own rebound. They're going to say passed it to herself. I thought it hit the backboard. And the officials are going to discuss that very same thing. I thought it hit the backboard. Had it not, it would have been a pass to herself, which is illegal. We'll take a look at it again.
Well, she's so quick. Take a look. Goes from her left. Yeah, it does
they
hit
definitely
the
care.
In that angle, you couldn't see it, but you could see the glass really hit the trajectory of the ball, so it kicked out a little bit.
Now the officials are going to confer again. 1:04 left on the clock. The Sparks will get the basketball back. LA on an 18-6 run in the last 6 minutes and some change. As I started to say, the Sparks are getting points and rebounds and assists from their big 3. They've only gotten 2 points from their other 2 starters in this game and only 4 points off their entire bench, all 4 of those from Ferdinand Harris.
I got to think once the draft comes around, they're going to be looking to wheel and deal for a shooting guard because they're going to need some compliments in the backcourt. You know, Sue Bird gets it done for Seattle. You need somebody strong in the backcourt. Becky Hammond gets it done for San Antonio. And obviously the officials checking whose ball was and how much time do we have left on the clock, getting everything reset, and the decision is it stays the Sparks ball.
And Lisa Leslie had checked out. They're making her stay on the court. Kristen Haney was going to check in, so she's got to wait. And Marinelle Metters is trying to figure out what's going on, and she's talking with Benita Spence.
And how about Marinelle Metters? They get into the building just about 6:30, and she said, hey, we left in plenty of time. We hit LA traffic. We had no idea.
Welcome to Los Angeles, Marinelle.
We're not in Atlanta anymore.
I remember being at an NBA All-Star game in Atlanta when that entire city was gridlocked. I know a little bit about it. Mika Johnson's in the game now, handling the basketball. Almost lost it. Leslie, nice spin. Spencer with the rebound. Gonna take it back outside. Leslie on the block. Works inside on Terry, and we've got a foul.
Boy, she had the move, she had the room, she's just being unselfish, and Lisa Leslie wanted to give it up. You're waiting for the power move to the hoop.
In case you're wondering about this Atlanta team, their highest scoring game of the year was 101 points. An overtime game at Connecticut. They did back in June. Their lowest scoring game of the season was that game in Atlanta against the Sparks back on May 25th, 56 points. Lisa right now with 13 points, 7 rebounds. Trying to break that 55-55 tie. Nope, still stuck there.
And you talk to Michael Cooper, one of the stats he's most proud about is holding the majority of WNBA teams to their season low in points. And the Dream were one of them.
All right, Lisa now 7 for 9 from the line. And we're still stuck at 55. Offensive rebound. Parker had it. Loose ball, and we've got a foul or a kick. We call a kick by Haney. And looks like CP.
I think she
They
extended,
need some CPR.
extended that left arm a little bit because Haney came up and blindsided her.
Yeah, she's had knee injuries over the years, shoulder injuries. Let's see what happens here.
So she banged her knee.
Well, that's what happened to Lisa down in San Antonio. She had to go out of the game for a while. And Lisa's out now as Raffaella Masiadri comes in for the first time. Italian Ice making her first appearance of the night. Let's see if we can break the speed limit here. We're stuck at 55. There you go, Sparks up by 1. And how about Parker? 18 points, 10 rebounds, her 17th double-double of the season. Lisa Leslie in her MVP year in 2006 had a total of 17 double-doubles for the year. And Parker, after tonight, will have one more game left Sunday against Seattle. 2-point LA lead. 40 seconds to go in the third. And we may have a very interesting fourth quarter. Tipped by Tamika Johnson in a foot race with Latta. Takes it in, and it won't go. Rebound Meek into Parker. CP double team. There's Milton Jones, happy birthday. No. Rebound Parker, she got clocked from behind. Finds Milton Jones down low. Happy birthday, D. 59-55. Milton Jones with 21. She's the top scorer in the game. Time running down. And inside, Terry beats the clock with 1/10 of a second left. That's going to do it. The Sparks have climbed back into the lead. They've trailed by as many as 14, and now they lead by 2 with the fourth quarter up ahead. Sparks with 3 players in double-digit points. Milton Jones with 21, Parker with 19, Leslie with 13. Tops for the Atlanta Dream, Betty Lennox with 17 points.
Candace Parker, your big 6'4" assist and playmaker. She has almost half the team's assists because she's got great court vision. She finds Alicia Milton-Jones, who again, cutting to the basket, beats the defender, and she is the great playmaker. One of the things they said about her is she doesn't need to score to be effective, and it's because she's got great court vision, great anticipation, and a good distributor. And I'll tell you, the way Bobbitt has been playing, you got to say, hey, let's let Candace Parker handle the ball a little bit more.
They've tried it at times this year. Candace would just as soon play on the front line, but there's no question that that may be in the future. Because when Michael Cooper looks at Candace Parker, he sees a female Magic Johnson, who came in and played 6'9" at the point guard spot, could do all those things, and really had a mismatch every time he stepped on the floor.
Great point.
Masiadri working against Haney. Out to Johnson. Milton Jones looks for a screen, tried to pass it inside. Terry broke it up, another turnover. 11 now against the Sparks.
Well, the Sparks' biggest lead has been 4 so far. This is where they have to close it out, and they usually do that by setting the tempo at the very beginning of the quarter. And that turnover looked like confusion, but equally as confused are the Dream.
13 turnovers now against Atlanta. And keep in mind, earlier this year, one of the Sparks' biggest problems was blowing leads in the fourth quarter. They had terrible times, had an 18-point lead against Phoenix here in the home opener and blew it in front of 11,000 plus fans. And it became a trend which was very, very bothersome, to say the least. Sydney Spencer, 2-pointer.
They have been trying to get Sydney Spencer the ball off the screen the last 3 times down the floor.
Parker coming from behind for the block. Boy, that was a big play. I thought Terry was going in for the layup. Parker in the lane. Mashiadri. Missed everything. She's had trouble shooting that three in recent games.
Yeah, she had not found her stroke since after the Olympic break, and you'd love for her and Sydney Spencer to get hot. Again, a good international player who's best when she's away from the basket, has the great height, creates mismatches, but just hasn't found that stroke.
14 on the shot clock. Inbound for Sydney Spencer. Into Mashiadri, and tapped away by Nina. So another inbound coming up for the Sparks. Lennox coming into the game for Atlanta.
Well, you give her the rest, now she comes back, and you got to think if she stays out of foul trouble, she rides out the rest of this game, and they'll be going to her continuously to try and take this game from the Sparks.
Nice bounce inside to Spencer, give the assist to Milton Jones.
She's a little bit more to Sydney Spencer's game as she moves without the ball, and she basically finishes underneath the basket using that big height.
There's Lennox. Rebound inside by Lacey, and we got a foul underneath.
Boy,
tell you what, if Lennox gets hot in the fourth quarter, we could have a game going right down to the stretch. She's that kind of player.
Yeah, they said when she's focused and aggressive, there are none better. The problem is she's not always focused and really not that aggressive at times.
2 fouls on Milton Jones. She'll lead the game. We'll check in with Lindsay Soto. Lindsay.
Betty Lennox with 17 points tonight. She's been on a tear since the break, averaging just under 24 points per game. That is night and day from the way that she was playing before the Olympics. Was in a serious slump toward the end of July. Went 0 for 1 against the Monarchs, 1 for 6 against the Mystics. Didn't even start the last game before the break against the Liberty. And Coach Metters says all of those struggles can be explained with one word, and that is fatigue. They have ridden her hard all season long, and she hit the proverbial wall even harder. As we've seen tonight, she's a totally different player when she's fresh.
Atlanta not going away at either end of the court. They've cut it down to a 2-point LA lead, 63-61, 2 minutes gone here in the fourth. And we've got a whistle. June Courteau, and we've got a foul away from the basketball. Called it on Lisa Leslie, a swatting foul or a wraparound foul.
Well, Lisa Leslie does intend to engage in a little pushing match underneath, and we're seeing her not get away with that so often as we'd like.
3 fouls on Lisa. A chance here for Atlanta to tie it up or go ahead with a 3. How about tying it up? Lennox, 63-63.
Lennox just has the athleticism that Mashiadri lacks, and she had a step back and a knock it down.
High-low, Parker to Leslie, double team. Out top. CP. Not gonna get it. Atlanta's got it back. Lennox had a 44-point game, a career high at Connecticut earlier this year in an overtime game against the Sun. And she can light it up, and as we said in the opening to this program, she's not afraid to shoot. She's standing over in the corner by her bench. She wants the ball. Slapping her hands, I want the ball. 4 on the shot clock. Lacey, shot blocked by Parker. That's the third block by Parker in the game, and a shot clock violation. All against the Dream.
Again, Candace Parker consistent from the get-go of this game from both ends of the floor. And Candace Parker, again, has that foot speed where she can go toe-to-toe with the best, most athletic guard she does. Great body control. And then after the block, shot clock violation gives the Sparks an opportunity to go ahead.
Parker came into the game averaging 2.2 block shots per game, second best in the league. Who's best? Her teammate, Lisa Leslie, 3 blocks per game, 95 total coming in. Here's Parker on the drive. And she'll go to the line.
I think you got to do more of that because she has players just in her face, not giving her any space. And when you do that, you put the ball on the floor. How closely she gets 1-2 steps, takes it strong to the hole, and creates those opportunities at the line. A better free throw shooter than Lisa Leslie, but still not where you'd want her to be.
Foul on Bales. And when I go around to visiting arenas, people come up to me and when they talk about Candace Parker, they say, I didn't realize she was that big. And she is. She's that smooth that you really don't realize she's 6'4" and such a big player.
You know, she gets so much attention, but when you talk to her, it's almost like she doesn't want the attention.
Yeah, true.
and almost seems shy about it, but is very good with the media, and Lisa Leslie's helping her kind of come into her own. But she's got a world of talent and got all the gifts. And you've got to think we're looking at her for Rookie of the Year, but perhaps Player of the Year with the great stats.
I think she's got a great chance of being Rookie of the Year and Most Valuable Player. Lennox taking it in, missed the scoop. Leslie the rebound, here come the Sparks. Tamika Johnson. Leslie down low, forced it up. Back the other way with the Dream. Castro Marquez puts it up and in, ties the game at 65, and she'll have a chance to break that tie at the line. 12 points for Castro Marquez.
Well, you said it, Larry, that the Dream's not going away. Transition defense, Sparks are slow to get there, and just threading the needle and finishing. They've got a great transition game, and Castro Marquez has the great first step. And now the opportunity for a three-point play.
Good free throw shooter, too, 83%. And a 1-point Atlanta Dream, 6:24 to play. Castro Marquez never drafted. Played with Seattle, with Miami, with Phoenix. She's from Brazil. Parker throws it away. Each team with 14 turnovers in this game.
And so many times a team feeds off their point guard, and Lada is always calm, collected, in terms of running the offense. Very emotional from a player standpoint, but she never gets really unfazed.
Sparks come out of the scrum. Tamika Johnson going to take it on her own. In and out. And we've got a foul underneath. Well, if that shot goes in, you say great shot. If it doesn't, you say, you know what? Maybe you should have waited for the troops to come up.
Oh, you'd like to see the guards start knocking them down for the Sparks. Hey, keep taking them.
We've got a 1-point game. And guess who's got the lead? It's the Atlanta Dream, 6th win of the season, and they may be on their way to breaking a 10-game losing streak.
And their leading scorers, 2 of the 3 are guards, and Betty Lennox leading the score, just 5'8". There is no response by the Sparks to defend her. Castro Marquez, an international player, she's a guard forward, doing a lot of the scoring from the outside, and you've got to give the Dream credit. They're playing tough defensively. And as we talked about, the big 3 for the Sparks, usually 50% of scoring or better. Here, 55 points to 10 points for the rest of the team. Where's the supporting cast for the Sparks?
Sparks have only gotten 8 points off of the bench, and as far as their starting 5, only 2 points from Keisha Brown and Bobbitt. Atlanta up by 1. Bales goes inside, and she's fouled by Parker.
Well, you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to get Parker and Leslie in some kind of foul trouble. So now they come right out of the timeout, and they say, go strong to the hole, and let's try and take Candace Parker out of this game, get her in some foul trouble because she's been the leader.
4 fouls on Parker and 4 on the team. By the way, Lisa Leslie has 1 block shot tonight, which gives her 96 for the season. Her Sparks season high career-wise, 98, set back in 2004. So she is playing at a career high clip with 1 more game after this one. That's Sunday afternoon game against Seattle. Bales misses the second. Atlanta's lead at 2. Parker against Castro Marquez. Here's the double. And Leslie banks it home inside. We're tied at 67. 15 points for Lisa. She's 1 rebound away from a double-double. When you look at it, 17 double-doubles for Parker. 14 so far for Leslie. There's a 3 by Castro Marquez. The Dream up by 3.
Again, not a lot of sets offensively to the Dream. You know what they're going to do. Why they have not fought through that screen, the Sparks, to stop that.
Double and a steal by Latta. And she's fouled by Muriel Page out there midcourt.
There's about 4 or 5 different plays you're going to see Atlanta run. That last time down the floor, that was one in their playbook, and still that's successful for Atlanta. You know what they're going to do. They've already done it in this game, and they're still successful in doing that.
2 fouls on Muriel Page, 5 against the team. So bonus time for the Atlanta Dream.
And the
4:44 to play.
The Dream playing both ends of the floor. And again, it's Lotta. So fiery on both ends of the floor. Again, a calm floor general, but very passionate when she plays the game.
14 teams in the league. Atlanta is 12th worst at free throw shooting. They come in at about 74%, but tonight, 12 for 13 from the stripe, 92%.
What was great about the Dream when they open up this season, they're an expansion team. They have back-to-back sellouts. When they open up their season, they have a lot of good fans in Atlanta, and you just wonder with a couple players from the draft how good they're going to be next year.
72-67 after the free throw. Keisha Brown to Leslie. Lob down low to Parker. Missed inside. Boy, that looked like an easy 2 points. Well, clock ticking down. Atlanta beaten Chicago at home July 9th, won at Minnesota. Missed by Lennox, rebound Leslie. And their other win came on July 16th at Indiana. So it's been almost 2 months through in the Olympic break since Atlanta's had a victory. Foul on Erica D'Souza. That's 5 on her. And the Sparks are down by 5. Counting it down to the 4-minute mark. Keisha Brown. A lot of dribbling going on.
The cuts for the Sparks, not even strong to the ball. They're looking for, there's a good pass.
Oh, a little pinball inside. It got tipped and into the hands of Parker.
The first cut by Parker, not strong. They went back out the top of the key. Leslie threads the needle. Good eyeballing by the big post players.
23 points for Candace Parker. Well, she started out her pro career. Castro Marquez good again. She's getting hot. Parker started out pro career with that 38-point game against Phoenix.
Would she have a high of 40 this season? I mean, she's just
had
been
40 against Houston.
Unflappable.
Had games with Houston and Phoenix where she totaled 71 points.
Now it's got to be the Parker, Milton Jones, and Leslie show, as if it hasn't already, but you've got to get those three with 3 minutes to go now to kick it into gear.
Milton Jones inside. Can't get that shot to go. Bales with the rebound. Atlanta looking to add to a 5-point lead as we hit the 3-minute mark remaining here in this game.
I'm sorry, did you say Atlanta had the lead?
That's what I said. Hard to believe. Everybody was talking about this being a nightmare season for the Dream. The nightmare may be the Sparks tonight. Castro Marquez over Lisa Leslie and in.
And that's the funky arc that Castro Marquez has to her outside shot. Purposefully the high arc to get over the big players. And it's so sweet when it goes home.
Timeout, and it's a full timeout with 2 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in this game. Castro Marquez lighting it up for 21 points. She's the top scorer for the Dream right now. And if they lose tonight, they can blame themselves and Isiana Castro Marquez.
Last year she was a starter for Seattle. This year she is becoming a scoring machine for the Dream. You're seeing all the facets of her game. From the outside, she can penetrate. She's aggressive to the hoop. And tonight she's dead on. And one of the things Michael Cooper said is, if this team gets confidence, it is very tough to stop them. And they are led by Castro Marquez. As you see, increasing her scoring every quarter and finishing strong.
What do they say? It's not how you start that counts, it's how you finish. We'll see how the Sparks finish here with 2:30 to go.
And they've got almost a 2-minute warning to do that.
Atlanta and a 14-4 run going, and the Sparks throw it away.
Yeah, Larry, and too long to get into their offensive quarter court.
Atlanta 8 for 22 from three-point range in this game. Castro Marquez 4 for 8. The Sparks have hit 1 of 12 from long distance. And we got a foul on Keisha Brown, I believe. Nope, they're going to call it on Muriel Page out around the three-point line.
Well, it's because they were trying to set up Castro Marquez for the double screen at the top of the key like they've done about a half dozen times so far. This time, the Sparks were trying to fight through that double screen. Got called for the foul.
You know, when you look at it, if the Sparks finish second or third, it really doesn't matter a whole lot because they're going to end up playing against Seattle the way it is right now. And if the Sparks finish third, the way the WNBA has their home court advantage, the team with the lesser record gets the first home game. Then the next 2 games, if they need 2 games, would be at, let's say, the 2 seed, which right now is Seattle. So you don't lose a whole lot there, but I don't know what you lose morale-wise, momentum-wise, all those wises when you lose a game like the Sparks are losing one tonight.
Well, part of their problem is focus, and Michael Cooper will say there are games where I've got to sit on Candace Parker to get her focused. There are games where I'm saying to Lisa Leslie, what's going through your mind right now? Why aren't you guys self-motivating at a time like this when you're in the playoffs and now you have a chance to basically set yourself up for second place? And you know, sometimes, Larry, maybe it's championship fatigue. You get an Olympic gold medal, you get a couple NCAA championship players, you've got players on the Sparks who have been there, done that with championships, and you say, okay, well really, I'll rise to the occasion when I need to. The Dream isn't a game I need to rise to the occasion. I'm going to try and sail through. There's no sailing.
And Castro Marquez puts the Dream at 15 for 16 from the line, 94% tonight. She's got 23 points. She is one shy of her season high at 24 points at Indiana back in July.
And a good guard playing team is going to give the Sparks trouble in the playoffs.
Ferdinand Harrison at the guard spot. She nails one. It's an 8-point game, though. We got less than 2 minutes to play. Stranger things have happened, but this has been pretty strange all night long. And a foul on Parker, who says hello to the people over at the scorers table.
Well, you want the ball in the hand of Lennox. She puts her head down on the full court pressure.
Foul on Parker is her 5th. And you look at the final games. Seattle hosting Atlanta tomorrow night. And then Seattle here on Sunday afternoon. They've changed the start time of that game to 1:30 to accommodate national TV. Lennox, free throw, makes it back to a 9-point game. She can make it 10 here with 1:46 to play. And maybe, and I'm grasping here, maybe the Sparks say, you know what? Whether we lose or not, Seattle's going to beat Atlanta tomorrow night. They're going to wrap up the number 2 spot. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't get it. Milton Jones. Tapped away. They're going to lose this game.
Yeah, and you've got to give the Dream a lot of credit. It's easy to quit when you've only got 3 wins coming into LA on a team that's got 3 Olympians, and they never did.
That's one of the things that Marinelle Netters said before the game, is that the effort has never been the problem for this team. They come out and they play hard, and I said, what did you tell them about the last 2 games coming up? She says, I just told them to go out and play hard, and that's what they're doing.
And credit to them. They've got great guard play, and the guard play has been really the decisive factor.
And as you see Michael Cooper, you also see where the Sparks are in the standings. And San Antonio, with their win at Connecticut tonight, has wrapped up the top seed in the West.
And I talked to Marianne Stanley before the game, and she said the one thing we don't want to do is come out flat against this team. And that's exactly what they did. And as much as a coach can motivate a team, if they're not feeling it, it's just not happening.
And we've got a foul. Erica D'Souza back there. And Lennox as well.
Larry, I think if they're going to go deep into the playoffs, the Sparks have to get some offense from their guard play. What the Dream did was basically double and triple team the 3 post players for the Sparks, give Lisa Leslie fits early in the game. They allowed Candace Parker to get her points, but there was no offense from Johnson, there was no offense from Bobbitt, there was no offense from Brown. And Sydney Spencer couldn't get it done in her traditional, rapid fire way.
Erica D'Souza, her 6th foul. She will sit down. And we're inside of a minute to play. Sparks down by 10. And running out of time in a hurry.
One thing you did want to do is protect that home court advantage.
Oh my goodness. All alone for Young inside.
And that typifies, they're so focused on the ball, they forget about the defenders, or the offenders, and they just fell asleep.
Leslie fouled by Allison Bales with 28.4 seconds remaining.
And you can see Lotta's already feeling it. She's looking at the bench saying, yes, we have got this. This is going to be our biggest win of the entire season, going 2,000 miles across country to beat the LA Sparks.
Have not won a game since July 16th at Indiana. Lisa's free throw is short. And she's still 1 rebound away from a double-double. Not that that matters a whole lot tonight when they're losing to Atlanta. 15 points, 9 rebounds, and now 16 points. And Atlanta calls a timeout with 28.4 seconds remaining. Marinelle Metters wants a 22nd timeout.
Well, if you're Seattle, you've got to say, wow, I now respect the Dream coming in, and I've got to take them seriously. But now you're seeing some chinks in the armor of the LA Sparks at a time in the season where they should be clicking on all cylinders.
Well, it's been up and down. We saw them play really poorly at San Antonio last Friday, bounce back, play really well, and win the next night at Houston. It's been up and down, up and down. And this is a team that has underachieved all season long. And they cannot afford to do that against anybody in this league, especially when it comes playoff time.
Well, I think a lot of people, Larry, thought them coming out of the Olympic break, they were rejuvenated. Really, the supporting cast, besides the big three that went to the Olympics, really picked up their game. They came out strong against Sacramento, got that win. Came out strong against Minnesota, got that win. They were protecting the home court. And as you said, they've got those lapses where they just can't pick themselves back up. And this is perhaps the biggest all season.
25 seconds to play. And keep in mind, the Sparks will play Seattle here on Sunday. And right now, that's the team that they'll face off against in the first round of the playoffs. So how do you approach that game? 8 on the shot clock. Atlanta's milking it.
Well, credit the Dream. They came in with a great game plan, and they were led by Benny Lennox, and they never gave up.
Time running out. Atlanta is going to win it 83-72. They pick up their 4th win of the season. So they are now 1-16 at home this year, 3-13 on the road, and they'll close out their season